Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Nikken Business Opportunity Call. Tonight, I'm joined by David Martin down in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. Good evening, David.
Good evening, Dennis.
And also Reid Nelson out in Portland, Oregon. Good evening, Reid.
Hello, Dennis. And hello, David.
Hi, Reid.
Welcome, gentlemen. So tonight we're going to talk about discover the freedom you desire and create a more meaningful life. So, Reid, I'm going to kick it right over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Dennis. Good evening, everybody. It's great to be with you again for our weekly rendition of an opportunity call. We're very excited about doing this, and every week we want to mix it up with new personalities and great new stories. And of course, as Dennis said, we've got David Martin on with us tonight. David, what a pleasure to be with you. I've met you probably, a year ago or so, I think?
Yep.
Leadership,
I think it was a year ago.
Yeah, almost. How long have you been involved with us in Nikken?
I did the first of 2012.
Okay, excellent. So, as we look at this first slide here, it says, discover the freedom you desire and create a more meaningful life. I like the lady sitting there going like this, like it's awesome, looking out the ocean. There's nothing more peaceful than an ocean, but discovering the freedom you desire. When you first saw this, David, what did something like that mean to you?
Well, I'd been in software all my life and working 80, 100 hours a week, creating a bunch of millionaires, stressing myself out, stressing them out. And in 2002, I took a year off from a successful but stressful career and just was home with my daughters who were 2 and 5, at the time. And in spring of 2003, I decided that I enjoyed being at home with my daughters too much to return to that stressful prison, of a job in the corporate world. And so I began to create a life that way, but I hit some bumps along the road and I needed to recreate that life using Nikken.
Okay, cool. Very good. Let's go to that next slide, Dennis. So, when we first started looking at Nikken years ago, and I know Dennis the same thing, both he and I have been involved in many business ventures over our lifetime. And I know that when we were looking at things in our past, as well as when we looked at Nikken for the first time, these are the things we looked at. We wanted to do our due diligence. We need to look at all these elements to really make a good, decent decision for our life. It worked for me in the telephone industry, in the office products industry, in the insurance industry. These are the types of things we examined. And over the course of our next few minutes, these are the things we're going to examine with you. And so, David, when you were introduced to Nikken, okay, originally here, a couple of years ago now almost, when you look at that word industry, I look at two things. I look at wellness, and I look at network marketing. What did you think about those two industries? Anything jump up at you for that?
Yeah, so wellness, somehow it had always been a side passion of mine to help people with intractable health problems that Eastern and Western approaches couldn't help. People just kept bringing them to me, friends of friends, and through deep research, I was able to help them. And it was not the traditional approaches. So I really believed in alternative, complementary approaches that really help people live a longer, healthier life. And network marketing, I'd been introduced to in about the mid to late 1990s. Fell in love with the profession, but didn't actually pursue it, but just saw the freedom that was possible in it, and kept studying, not as a doer, but just as a learner, for a number of years until Nikken came along.
Okay, interesting. Let's go to the next slide, Dennis. We're going to get all these things. So when I look at this one, we're not going to see a whole lot of these slides tonight, but why wellness? Why now? Why Nikken? As I looked at the industry and the company Nikken, I was very impressed by what I saw. But with today's timing, with what's going on in what we call our healthcare system, right? And with wellness and of course the timing of financially and all those things. Why wellness? Why now? Why Nikken? Really, why?
For me, wellness, as Paul Zane Pilzer says, it's $1 trillion industry. So, having always been a little bit an entrepreneur, a little bit of someone that only likes doing the impossible, what everyone else's believe is impossible. And when I think it's possible, it's like, that's when I'm engaged. Why not do it in a huge industry, where there's a chance not only for myself, but the people I'm helping to earn, an income that will set them free.
Yeah, and why, whenever I looked at Nikken, I was so excited about this. I couldn't even stand myself. I was just jumping up and down Martha. I was so excited at the time because what I saw was a company that had a track record already. It wasn't new. You know, you didn't have to worry about them going out of business. I saw products that were unmatched and still are, you know, unmatched. So when you saw Nikken, what did that, when you did your investigation, what did you find and why did you like it?
You know, the stories I heard from people of the changes in their life, in their you know, physical body health, and the fact that those have been going on for nearly 40 years among over 30 million people. You know, I knew this stuff had to work. And then, you know, I also met some people that, you know, like me in 2011, I suffered a huge financial hit, and I was facing the fear of having to return to the corporate world and abandon my daughters who I'd been home with, you know, for, you know, nearly 10 years at that point. And I saw people that had done that too. They'd set themselves free and realized that Nikken, you know, by the time I met it, had paid out billions of dollars to people like, you know, you and me and the next people we meet.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they're financially sound. We're very excited about that. Go to the next slide, please. So I love this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you know, it says our mission is to inspire individuals to discover a whole new way of life and provide them an opportunity to live it. You know, every week I say this, and I mean it so very much that people do life, they don't live life. You know, and I know that Dennis and I and a lot of other people had this conversation over many years, and it's one of those things where we live life. You know, to the fullest every single day. At least that's our goal, to live it every day, and to find people who want to do that. I know that when I first met you, David, I was pretty impressed. I really was impressed with you and your attitude and your desire to learn and more. Because you know, somebody like you could come into this thing and say, "Well, I know pretty much everything there is," and you wanted to sit down with all of us and pick our brains. And I'm not sure
Yeah.
there was that much to pick, but you know.
Oh, believe me, there was. I went 5 months with being a little uncoachable, and that was what I call my valley of death. So it was time to finally become coachable. And you know what this is all about is learning. And if you're willing to learn and be coached, then you can earn. You know, and then you get to, you know, as a side effect, enjoy a youthful, passionate life with family and friends. And all that requires is you got to go help others do the same thing.
No, it's a great description because when I say live it, I mean live it, you know, and it takes, you know, the 5 pillars of health, which will, you know, there you see at the bottom there, the 5 pillars of having a healthy body, mind, family, society, and finances was really one of the first things that I personally heard. What did you think of that when you first heard that philosophy of Nikken?
It made a lot of sense because, as I mentioned, you know, I was in the software industry working 80, 100 hours a week. You know, I was doing fine on the finances side, and my body was, you know, okay, but I wasn't developing myself other than within that industry. I didn't have the time for family and friends or to make any other contribution to society other than software, you know, and so it's a little out of balance.
There's a lot of balance. I tell people all the time, everybody, I know that with me, this really resonated. Dennis, when you're doing the interview, you always ask me this question, you know, about how we were introduced to this. These things made sense. This is not something I had to be sold on,
Yeah.
you know. This was something that just automatically made sense. When you first heard that, Dennis, how'd that ring with you?
Basically the same way, Reid. It just made a lot of sense, and I was much like David. I really didn't have the time. The finances were pretty okay for where we were and what we were doing, but everything else was out of balance. And even though I hadn't looked at it specifically from this perspective of the 5 pillars of health, when I saw it, it was like, duh. It's like, you know, why did you think of this before? And it made so much sense to see those 5 areas, and then everything else is sort of wrapped up and part of one or the other of these, if not both, or two or three of them.
Yeah, for sure. I know that we're always, it seems like we all believe in balance, we just don't have any of it, right? And so for
And
us,
you know, Reid, what I see out there too is this is what most people that are out there striving when they're looking for freedom, let's use that word, what they're looking for is balance in these 5 areas, whether they articulate them or not. I was looking for that kind of freedom. I just didn't know it was going to be called the 5 pillars of health.
right? Yeah, for sure. Because I'm not sure anybody even, I know that when most people, being weaned a little bit, I've been around network marketing, Yvonne and I have for over 40 years now. And so it's like, you know, you heard that word freedom. Well, that means different things to different people, you know.
Yes.
And to me, I just wanted the time and the money all at the same time.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
David, you probably had great finances, but no time to enjoy them.
Yep, yep. And I'd started to create it, be at home with my daughter for a number of years, and I wasn't ready to lose it again. So I had a fierce desire to, maintain the balance that actually I had created, but then I took a hit, financially, and it looked like I was going to lose it.
Yeah, losing sometimes is a great wake-up call, isn't it?
Yep.
As the three of us sit here and nod, we all know. So go to the next slide, please. Okay. Now, we've talked a little bit about Nikken. Of course, we were founded in 75. We're 38 years old. We're going on 40 here in about a year and a half, and pretty exciting times, billions in sales and all that. But from a business person standpoint, David, what does that mean? You're sitting there talking to a brand new person. We've got brand new people on tonight. What does that kind of financial stability mean to that new person?
Well, I look at the last bullet, over 30 million, satisfied customers worldwide. That says the products work. We've never been sued successfully. The products work. There've been amazing results, done. As a business person, nothing else to really look at, and then I look at the second bullet, billions of dollars in total sales. What's more meaningful to me as a businessman is, about half of that's been paid out to people like you and me. So that's billions of dollars of income for anyone, college educated, high school educated, dropout. It does not matter as long as you have a dream, you're passionate about it, you're willing to put in some consistent effort every week, and you're willing to be coachable. And then finally, Nikken's got a 100-year business plan. That's why they carry no debt. That's what the 5A1 Dun and Bradstreet means. That rating means is there's no debt. So in 2008, there wasn't a risk that Nikken was going to go away when the debt markets, collapsed. And that's important because these tens of millions of people have built their livelihood on top of this platform called Nikken, and we can't pull the rug out from under them. So having a 100-year plan that also has a part of it not any debt is critical. We're going to these lifetime and multi-generational incomes on this platform.
Absolutely. But by the way, when you say multi-generational, what does that mean to a new person who may not know what that means?
It means that, not only can we build them for our lifetime, but we can gift this to our children. They can gift it to their children as a business. We can at any point in time sell it as a business on the open market. It's truly an independent, business that we create and has lasting value.
Awesome. That's great because I know that our kids are all set up that way. Dennis, I know yours are, and it's a great. It's a very comforting thought for our families actually to be able to have security long term. It's a really big deal. So,
absolutely.
Okay. Now this is a product. We're not going to get into this too much. This is about our solutions. I know that we have sleep and water and air, nutrition, light, all types of things that we deal in. What I'd like to know from you, David, is, take a couple of things that have just absolutely impacted you from a product standpoint. A couple of stories, maybe the things that you've had happen for you personally or somebody that's close to you, and share it with the folks here, because obviously we're not going to have time to go through all these products tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when I took that year off in 2002 and 2003, decided to make it permanent. One thing that happened at the same time is my oldest daughter, 5 at the time, was diagnosed, labeled with symptoms associated with ADHD and OCD. And those symptoms kept getting worse until I discovered Nikken, and then in days, they disappeared. And that wasn't just a blessing for her, but you ask her sister or me, and those disruptive behaviors being out of our household, oh my gosh, what a blessing. No more 30-minute arguments over a 30-second chore every day with her screaming. No more of her, sitting slumped at the dinner table, tapping her spoon and insulting her sister and I round robin all meal long. Gone. And for myself, because I laid in bed 9-10 hours a day and got up exhausted. And now I'm out in 5 minutes and I'm up in 6 hours with more energy as I had in decades. I created, this Nikken wellness home that I installed around my daughter and around myself. I created 3 to 4 hours a day. I mean, that's priceless.
That is really priceless. Fact is, let's take one more second here and talk about sleep a little bit, because this is one of the only things I've ever seen, the only product platform that I've ever seen, you can actually get less sleep and be more productive.
Absolutely. Last night was an hour and a half before I took a friend in the airport, and another hour and a half, and I feel like I got pretty good energy.
The Energizer Bunny.
Dennis, I know that in your business past some pretty stressful times and things. How does sleep affected you personally?
Well, Reid, I had a real challenge with sleep. I would go to bed at night and I would toss and turn for 2 to 3 hours. I'd think about everything that had gone wrong in the last 5 years with the business, everything that could go wrong in the next 5 years, and what a stressful day I'd had that day. And when I started sleeping on the sleep system, I found that if I didn't talk to my wife prior to getting into bed, about 10 minutes after I got in, I was out like a light. And like Dave, I was waking up an hour and a half earlier in the morning, but I was rested. I was ready to face the day. So less sleep, but more energy, fell asleep faster, slept deeper, didn't get up in the middle of the night as often, didn't wake up as often.
I know that people tell me all the time, how do you do that? You get up in the morning, somebody just winds you up or what? I say, no, not really. I said, you know what? Our products from the inside out help us create a better, healthy lifestyle, more energy, less stress, a lot less health hassles for sure. I know I was in the doctor recently and he said, so how many meds you on? None. Why?
That would be zero.
Zero. People your age are certainly on a lot of meds. You got to be on something. Well, no, not. Don't intend on being either. Isn't that wonderful? So, okay, this next slide, network marketing. Dennis, I want you to take another minute here and just tell me that favorite quote that I love so much that you've got to say about this. I love this.
Yeah,
This is great.
I say this to folks all the time. I do it in every one of my opportunity meetings, and I say it. I'm not trying to be challenging to the folks out there, but if you have a challenge with network marketing, if you have a problem with network marketing, it's time to get over it. This is an industry whose time has come, and it's not because any of the three of us on here tonight say so, but simply look out in the marketplace. Look at books written by Robert Kiyosaki, Paul Zane Pilzer. Look at the fact that Warren Buffett owns 3 network marketing companies. This is a strong, viable opportunity. It's somewhat misunderstood, but more and more professionals are looking for it. So literally, I say, if you have a challenge with network marketing, it's time to get over it.
I love that. I just love it. Well, that last quote there, the richest people in the world build networks. Everybody else looks for work, is such a powerful statement. David, you come from a network background. I mean, as far as, software, computers, all those types of things,
Right.
Networking is a way of life, except this is networking and leveraging time. What's the difference?
This is what everyone has done naturally since they were born. You look at the old boys network and they got $1 million to invest and they go, hey, where can I invest it? And they say, well, go talk to Sally and Jim and Sue. And they look at that and go, you know what? I'm going to invest $1 million with Sue. It looks like a good return. Well, we don't all necessarily have that, but we've had people come to us and say, look, my daughter's got ADHD. Who do you know that's, helped alleviate that or live with it better? And we make referrals, right? Or, man, I need a job. I need some income. And we connect those people up all the time. The only difference with network marketing is we're actually finally getting paid for making those connections. That's it.
I made this statement. I make it all the time, actually, but I don't know if you've heard it or not. But I say, because I'm so positive and so excited about this business opportunity and the strength that it really has. I always tell people that our products are the catalyst to our dreams. I'm so grateful that the products are so powerful. They help so many people, but they also are the catalyst to our dreams, the catalyst for that freedom. How do you visualize that in your life, David?
The wellness industry being huge and our platform being so wide for, delivering true wellness. I look at other approaches to wellness and, there's a juice or, there's another company out there that's got one mushroom that they put into tea and coffee and some nutritionals. That's one of the 14 mushrooms in one of our, nearly 300 products. I think we got a broader platform. And if you're going to go business, why not have the broadest offering available to you?
Absolutely. And that makes your dreams even bigger.
Yep.
Absolutely. Next, please. Okay, well, now this business model is about network marketing, this whole concept of leverage. And these pictures are just really simple. The lady at the top left-hand corner, she probably talked to those 10 people there. 5 decided to get in, and 5 decided to become customers. Now, who knows how many she really had to talk to do all that. But the bottom line is that she did something. Some people said yes, some people said no, whatever. Well, then one of those other people said, you know what, I'm going to grab that too. Then comes the second big picture. And that lady goes out and does exactly the same thing. Talk to some people. Some say yes, some say no, some get in, some buy, whatever, which leads to all these things, customers and consultants in our business. And it really comes from the idea that that one lady up there is being able to multiply her time through the efforts of other people. One of the things that I just absolutely love is something that an old friend of ours said many years ago, is that as we create a bigger and bigger business over time, we are not, our presence is not required. And what does that whole concept mean to you? The whole concept of leverage and more time with your family and the things you really want to do with your life. How important is that to other people on the phone tonight that are new?
I think it's huge. For me, my dream, the next steps in my, ideal lifestyle here is to graduate my daughters into life, not graduate them from high school, but graduate them into life as citizens, of this world. And then get rid of my home and go live around the world myself. And whenever they want to be with me, I'm going to return to me. And, that I'm going with this lifestyle. And I want to turn around and give that gift to, to millions of other people. And I'm only able to do that because just like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or the CEO of Walmart or the CEO of Target, they built an organization of people that are all working a little bit. And then, Bill Gates can go take 6 months off, or now the rest of his career off, because he started that. And that's, that's really, all we're doing here is giving everybody the opportunity to be the president of a really large organization. But the interesting thing is we're all rowing in the same direction. We're all learning, we're all earning, we're all living youthful lives, youthful, passionate lives with family and friends, and turning around and helping others do the same. So we've all been there, we've all done that, and thus we can turn around and coach others to do the same thing successfully.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, we have the chance, like you just said, to become the president, CEO of our own companies. The guys down at Microsoft, they can't all be the president and CEO. We can be the president and CEO of our own company right now. So, Dennis, talk about the ABC system, what that means in Nikken, and you, David, kind of hash that one over. This is a great concept.
Yeah, absolutely, Reid. And this is the foundation of any successful marketing or sales type approach. The ABC, you've got A, who is the presenter, or let's use the word perhaps expert. B is someone who has a contact, a prospect, if you will, a prospective customer that they'd like to introduce this idea or these products to. And of course, C then is that customer. And it's simply a matter of, Reid, it's really earn while you learn. David, you talked about a bit earlier, but simply if I'm the B, I introduce David the C to you, Reid the A, and then I'm in the amen corner. I'm just kind of being quiet, and I'm listening to you present and answer the questions that C might have, that Dave might have here. And so I learn while I'm listening to the two of you, but it's even more powerful than that. There's a relationship between A and B, and there's a relationship between B and C. And when you use this marketing system, there's a perceived relationship between A and C. It's sort of like any friend of yours is a friend of mine type thing. Plus, you're leveraging credibility. And so often in today's world, if I don't have the answer to the problem, it's kind of like, well, okay, you're on your own, you're in business by yourself, you've got no place to go. When I owned my restaurants, if there was a problem with a recipe, I had to figure it out. I wasn't going to go next door to the next restaurant down the street and say, hey, tell me how to fix this because my customers don't like this. But literally in this business, if you don't have the answer, you simply get someone on the phone or on a webcast like this, and they can answer the question. They can take care of any questions or any challenges that might come up. So David, when you were looking at this, and this, I'm not sure how this worked for you in the software industry, or even if it did, but what did this mean to you when you saw the ABC system for the first time? And how do you leverage it today?
Yeah, so from a software industry perspective, it's brilliant because we were always looking for references, people that were using this stuff and happy and had success. And everyone in this is one of those, including ourselves. And also going back to the comment I made earlier about the fact we're all just making referrals all our life. I sat down with an old colleague of mine this morning that, I hadn't seen in 15, 20 years. And he's like, I haven't been able to find a job for a year. I need $20,000 to pay off, my property taxes, et cetera, by the end of the year, and I need to get to $4,000 a month just to, be able to survive. And I said, you know what? Come to my house tomorrow at 6:45 to 8 p.m. and meet some people that have done that and helped people do that. And he's going to meet a bunch of A's in my house tomorrow, and I'm going to be quiet. He's the C.
David, that's really interesting too, because we look at our business opportunity meetings, our live meetings, or what some of us call wellness previews, and that really is a gigantic ABC. This call tonight is a gigantic ABC where you're able to leverage that. And truly, the smartest bees are the ones that invite their guests to come to the meeting, introduce them to someone in the room, and then just sort of walk away and leave them. And let the folks in the room become each individual A. So C now is exposed to, 3, 4, 5, 10, however many there happens to be time for, that many A's. So it's an absolutely, Reid, it's an absolutely brilliant system. And when it's utilized, people find success. And when it's not utilized or underutilized, that's when we see that people are struggling.
Yeah,
that was my valley of death. I wasn't using it. I finally figured it out.
Well, it's a beautiful thing to be able to help other people help. We're all from a traditional business background originally, and so the help was here. This was it. We're helping ourselves because the competition certainly wouldn't help us, that's for sure. And here we've got lots of help, so it's really quite exciting. Go to the next one, please, Dennis. Okay, support. Humans being more. Let's just take a minute. We've got an annual convention coming up here later this month, actually, but really fun, because I was talking to our president and CEO today, Kurt, and they're sharing with me some really exciting things, which are really, really good. And national conventions are great. We got international business support. We got all these great things. Take a minute. Team support. This is the form of team support right here. This is the way we support our team and anybody's team who wants to participate with us. We're wide open to anybody and everybody. Doesn't have to be in our organization, like you're not, David. I wish we were. We could take range of that, but that's not going to happen, obviously. So, but we want to not only leverage people, but to help other people too, because all of our success just helps breed more success. And so, but tell us a little bit about the HBM, the Humans Being More training, and how that kind of affected you.
So, I found my purpose in life. My purpose in life to inspire millions of people around the world to live long, healthful, abundant, joyful lives, starting with myself and my daughters. And it just let me see a few things I'd put in my own way and blow them up and get them out of my way, so that I could go out there. And I walked out of there with this huge vision, and it was contagious. The people in the room and people since then, they catch it. It's communicable. Unlike all these illnesses that are out there in the world today that are toxin driven, the vision's contagious, and people want to be around that. And this community of Nikken is such amazingly positive, powerful, unlimited humans being more that you just can't help but love everyone and want to help everyone. And everyone wants to help you. And, I've been in business for years, and I was always told, get a mentor. And every time I asked, they're like, I don't have time for you. In this business, you ask them to be a mentor. They said, you bet, because they're rowing the same boat in the same direction, and you're all helping each other. Why not? Why wouldn't I want to help you? It's helping me.
Yeah, it's a great program. And Nikken's really, the Humans Being More training is part of our culture. And a lot of companies have actually tried to duplicate it and failed miserably. It just doesn't fit, but here it fits so well.
It's the critical third leg of the stool. We got the opportunity, we've got the products, and we got humans being more. And without it, which the other network marketing, the companies built on this network marketing profession, they don't have it, and I think they're wobbly as a result.
A two-legged stool doesn't stand up very long. Huh? Go on to the next slide, Dennis. Okay. All right. We're going to wrap it up here. I just want to, David, take a moment here. Your dreams, a second. You're looking for more free time, financial security, better health, way to make a difference. In your vision, then we're going to take it back to Dennis to close up here a little bit. But what is your dream? What's your vision right now for you, your family, and your business?
So, for my family, as I said, is to graduate my daughters into life as well-rounded people, to go live around the world myself, and yet be with them every moment they want me with them, or I want to be with them. And in between, I'm changing the world. I'm making a huge, huge difference, not by myself, but by the people I've rippled this to, and they've rippled it to, and they've rippled it to, and I'm already starting to lose track of those ripples. And it's wonderful when I meet somebody, 5, 6, 7 levels down in my organization, and hear their story. It touches my heart. That was when I met you guys last October in San Diego at my first big event at the National Leadership Conference, which is just coming up here in a couple of weeks, that everybody should be at. And every one of you cried from stage, or teared up from stage, because of the lives that you've touched in fixing their wealth and fixing their health and making them more wise, giving them an opportunity to be more wise. And then in Orlando in May at the Royal Alliance, they're speaking Russian from stage. They're speaking French from stage. We got respect for people that can be themselves. I traveled the world doing softer conferences. It was all in English. We didn't give them that respect. It's just, it's world changing. I can't say enough about it. It's hard to convey in words.
Okay, good. All right, well, Dennis, I'm going to kick it off to you here, and you and David can have some final words, and I'm going to check out. I'm not going to check out. I'll be right here watching. But, for us, this has been a dream come true. It's provided financial security from where we were close to financial ruin, and it's just been a godsend and a lifesaver, not just for us, but for so many other people. And like David said, that really gets to you when you can really heartfelt help other people with their wealth, with their health, and with everything in their life. You see those things change. It's really, really cool. So, Dennis, it's all yours, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, Reid. As David was talking, it took me back to some of the early years in Nikken. Been myself a little over 22 years now with Nikken, and I remember one incident with one of the products that I shared with a lady, total stranger, and she'd been in a car accident, been crushed, and had some significant challenges. She liked to play tennis, but was limited by it. She'd tried this product technology for 3 days, was leaving to go to Arizona. I met at their home at 4:30 in the morning before they left. When I knocked on the door, she opened the door and she threw her arms around me and she sobbed on my shoulder. I did not know this lady at all, but that product had impacted her life so profoundly that all she could do was thank me and cry on my shoulder. Now, nobody ever did that in my martial arts school. Nobody ever did that over a steak dinner. I've not been able. I've made people happy, in the hospitality industry, and a family comes out to eat, or a couple go out to spend time together. I mean, there's something there to be said for that, but not on the impact level that we have here with Nikken. It's huge. And Reid, as I looked for this and looked at this opportunity, for me it was free time. I owned and operated 2 restaurants, 167 apart. I was working 7 days a week. I'd leave at 6:30 in the morning. I'd get home at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And 4 days a week, I was in a community where my family was not. And then the 3 days I was in the same community, I might as well not have been, because I'd get home at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, fall into bed. I was up again and out the door at 6. My wife knew somebody was in bed, but that was about it. I kind of fell in and jumped out, and there was really no relationship. So you look at the 5 pillars of health. Healthy body in decline. The stress was just taking me out. From the stress, the mental, it was totally gone. Family, teetering on the edge. No time with my children. David, you've done a masterful job talking about that tonight. That's what I wanted with this business, was the opportunity to spend with my family, to spend with my wife, to spend for myself, to make an impact on society and maintain the lifestyle that I had. And today, Reid, I can do that. Today, over this summer, you've called me a couple of times over the summer and you say, where did I catch you? Well, I'm on my boat in the middle of the lake. And so literally today, I get to work around my life instead of the other way around. And that was my goal when I got started. Exactly what David is saying here, that I wanted to spend the time with my family doing the things I want to do. And I shared with you, Reid, yesterday, and David yesterday as well, several people that are part of Inner Circle that I'm a part of. I shared with them that when I have a grandson that plays football out in South Carolina, I want to get on a plane and show up at his game and surprise him. I can do that now. When I have a granddaughter that's going to be in a concert someplace, and it's not in my community, I want the relationship with my grandchildren and children as if they live next door to me when something significant happens. And Nikken has provided it for me, Reid.
Absolutely. David, any last thoughts? You have new people on the phone. What do they do next? In your opinion, what should they do next?
So, I highly recommend they get started now. If they want to improve their lifestyle, get to the person they're with, join. If they want to improve their health, get to the person they're with, order. If they need to learn a little bit more, excellent. Ask some questions, get introduced to some more A's, find out who can help you with what, and while you're learning, go ahead and refer some other people that might need some income or some time, or some health or wisdom, in their life. And if their pain isn't big enough, we're here. When the pain does get bigger, and it will, you know where to come back to, because we can help you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, David, thanks for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it. Dennis, as usual, I know that you do so much work on these things in the background that people don't know about. We really appreciate time and effort and energy put into this thing, very, very much. And appreciate you all very much. Thanks for being on with us. Have a wonderful week, and join us soon.
Well, and I'd be remiss without thanking you both. You're giving me all these things on this slide here, and I don't get to return them to you directly because I'm not in your organization. But I think, karmically, it's the way the world works. And thank you so much for your mentorship and coaching.
Our pleasure.
Welcome.
You bet.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.